Ladies and gentlemen, this is Real Honesty without John Ritland. I am not John Ritland. I am the Derbinator. Hello. And boy, howdy, did we have an alright show tonight. We did start off with the Undisputed Era getting attacked by Sanity when they were getting prepped for the match between Alexander Wolf and Eric Young versus Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Due to this, William Regal comes out and says that it's going to be a 3-on-3 tornado tag team match. And for those of you who don't know what a tornado tag team is, it pretty much means no one needs to be tagged. Which I guess defeats the purpose of calling it a tag team, but whatever. Afterwards, we had another tag team in Heavy Machinery versus Discount Chris Masters and Riddick Moss. That's ridiculous. Oh, boy, but the crowd, they were really into Heavy Machinery. And I don't think that's just because it's in Florida and they may be construction fans. Pretty much any time Tino and Riddick were in the ring, they were getting booed. Because everyone backed Heavy Machinery just that much. Now, it was well wrestled. It wasn't anything to write home about, but it was well wrestled. And ended with an assisted power slam. And then 1, 2, 3. After the match, though, because there was some tension in the match between Riddick and Moss. Riddick and Discount Chris Masters. I'm sorry, I'm a little sleepy. After the match, Riddick walks up to Sabatelli, and Sabatelli kind of offers his hand so that Moss would help him get back up, and Moss looks at him and just walks away. So that may be the end of that pairing, which is alright. I don't really know how much they had to offer as a tag team, and from what I had seen, I wasn't impressed with the dynamic. Then after that, we got a nice long promo from Johnny Gargano. The crowd had my word, I've just realized I've not been wearing my glasses this entire time. My promo glasses, as they were. We had a promo from Johnny Gargamel. The crowd gave him nothing but respect. Any break in the promo, any amount of silence, was filled with Johnny Wrestling. The crowd, I mean, if he isn't the absolute babyface of NXT at the moment, I don't know who is. He seems like genuinely a good guy, too. So, he started off, talking about the events at NXT Philly, how it was one of the biggest nights of his life. Plus, the first 5-star match in 7 years. That, I mean, if you do trust Rave Dave Melty Melts. But, that aside, it was a terrific matchup. He went on to talk about challenging Tommaso Ciampa before getting interrupted by Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega. Andrade came out to antagonize Johnny Wrestling, but obviously he had Zelina do it. And then, as Zelina was talking, the crowd started, "We want Candace!" And, sorry guys, she's already taken. If you hadn't noticed, she's kind of hitched to Johnny. So Candace came out, beat up Zelina Vega, after Johnny Gargano talked about how much he enjoyed watching her beat up Zelina. Kinky. And, Zelina goes, "What do we need to do to get rid of you?" And Johnny goes, "One more shot!" So next week, I believe, it's going to be Johnny Gargano versus Andrade Cien Almas. And if Johnny Gargano loses, he has to leave NXT. Doesn't say he's got to quit the company, though. So maybe it's a move to move him up to the main roster? Who knows? Probably creative. Maybe they don't. But ought to be interesting to see. Shayna Baszler is the master of putting things to sleep without even laying a hand on them because I was bored all throughout her speech. I zoned out completely, and I don't even remember what she said. We had a promo with Tyler Bate afterwards. It was a little rough, kind of just talking about, how do you feel about winning the match of the year? Alright. Then we had the only women's match tonight. And it was, at best, 30 seconds long between Bianca Belair and Jessica Hill. Jessica Hill. Something or rather. It was a 30-second squash match. That was it. It was... You could have taken it out of the equation, and you would have built up the same amount of story. No offense to Bianca Belair, because your athleticism is far greater than some of the female wrestlers on the main roster today. But one, you're saddled with the gimmick of you whip your hair back and forth. Your nickname, or your last name on there is Belair, which Belair, Willow Smith, sung, I whip my hair back and forth. That's the joke. That's her gimmick. She is a gimmick of a song that was a meme years ago. And that is not the kind of gimmick I think she deserves to be saddled with. So, that's me though. We had a bit of a Kairi Sane vignette, just a little video package. Ember Moon versus Shayna has been announced for next week. It's going to be a title match. And I'm sure Ember Moon's arm is going to be put into the equation on it when she somehow loses to Shayna Baszler. Shayna the Boring Baszler. Well, I'm not too enthusiastic about a Shayna Baszler match. I'm just not. Afterwards, we had a match between... Well, we got to our main event, essentially. It was the Tornado Tag Team match between Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole of the Undisputed Era versus Sanity. My Sanity. Also Killian Dane, Eric Young, and Alexander Wolf. As much as I wanted to enjoy this match, there was too much going on. It wasn't focused into the ring enough to really shine like it could have. You can't have people moving into a backstage segment, then and then have one that's going on the ramp on the other side, and then having one that's going on in the ring, and then out of the ring, and then in the ring, and then out of the ring. There is such a thing as too much, and this match kind of exemplified that. I wouldn't say it's a bad match, but it was a distracted match. It was a match that had far too much for what it needed to tell. If the match had stayed focused around the ring and in the ring, great. But there are too many backstage cuts, there's too many spots going on simultaneously, that the crowd interaction was not as high as it was near the end when everything was happening in the ring. That being said, you got chair spots, you got kendo stick spots. Killian Dane absolutely owned this entire match. He is the MVP of tonight, as it were, at least for those who wrestled. Killian Dane, I believe he pile-drived Kyle O'Reilly into Bobby Fish, and that was unique. I dug it. And then, by the end of this, Morrow had been yelling for so long tonight that I think he was starting to lose his voice, which was kind of surprising, but also not surprising considering how much he has to yell. Killian Dane pinned Bobby Fish for the win. And that was that. That was NXT for tonight. Was it the best episode I've seen of NXT so far? Maybe not so much. But it was a good match. Or it was a good episode of NXT. I'm going to give this a B-. The women's division deserves more than a 30-second squash match between Bianca Belair and a jobber. It does. With all the promos and all the recaps that you do, you could have fit in another women's match. There was the first match, Heavy Machinery and I almost forgot their names, Riddick and Discount Chris Masters. It was alright. It seemed like this episode of NXT was suffering from like pay-per-view hangover. But that's that. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Down below. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Hit the like button, hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Hit subscribe. We'd like to see you guys return and view more of our content. And this is Real Honesty without John Ritland. I am not John Ritland. I am the Derbinator. Goodbye.